Hi dear students, welcome back. We have already discussed the introduction about our EC1. Now we are going to discuss the first unit. What we are going to discuss in the first unit, already we have discussed that now. We are going to discuss about that BJT, JFET, MOSFET and its biasing characteristics. Let me start with what is biasing. The process of providing proper power supply, voltages and resistance for obtaining the desired Q point. Q point means you have to make that transistor to work in particular range. That is, if you want to operate the transistor in active region, you have to make that emitter base junction should be forward bias and collector base junction should be reverse bias. So providing proper power supply, voltage and resistance for obtaining the desired Q point. In order to make the Q point in the active region, we have to make the biasing properly. Okay, so this is the need for biasing. What is the need for biasing is given here. So we have to make that to operate the transistor in the required region for getting particular application and to prevent thermal runaway to obtain better stability. We are going for this biasing. What is thermal runaway? You know that one. As temperature increases, the ICQ value will be increases. If the ICQ value is increases, see that one, the formula IC equal to beta times IB plus 1 plus beta times IC. Okay, so if you are increasing the value, if the ICO value is increasing due to temperature increases, there will be an increase in the IC value. If IC is increases, again that beta value will be increases. So this will be a cumulative process and that cause that transistor will be damaged due to that increase in temperature. So we have to avoid it. For that only we are going for making that Q point operating point to be stable and it should be fixed in the center of the middle of the load line. Okay. What is an operating point? When we bias a transistor, we establish a certain current and voltage condition for the transistor. These conditions are known as operating conditions or DC operating point or the Q point. Okay. Next, what is stability factor? Why we have to find the stability factor? We already told you now that in order to make the Q point in the middle of the DC load line, we have to make that Q point to be stable. Okay, so the operating point must be stable for proper operation of the transistor. It indicates the degree of change in operating point due to variation in ICO, beta and VBE. So what is stability factor means? The change in the output current or change in the Q point due to the change in the ICO, beta and VBE is called as stability factor. Okay. Next, load line and variation of a Q point. What is load line? Biasing is the application of a DC voltage to establish a fixed level of current and voltage. For transistor amplifiers, the resulting DC current and voltage establish an operating point on the characteristics that defines a region that will be employed for amplification of the applied signal. Since the operating point is fixed point on the characteristics, it is also called as Q point or quotient point. Okay, so how to fix the operating point? Let me start with that. See that one, we are having a fixed bias circuit and the output current IC will be equal to VCC minus VCE by RC, that is equal to VCC by RC minus 1 by RC into VCE. So when you are activating this one, when you are solving this one, we are getting simplify after simplification. IC will be equal to minus 1 by RC into VCE plus VCC by RS. Okay, sorry, RC. So we can draw a straight line on the output characteristics of a transistor by making that V equal to VCC when we are keeping a I equal to 0. When I equal to 0, you are getting a voltage value. Similarly, when voltage equal to 0 in the above equation, that is IC equation, if you are substituting that IC equal to 0, we will get that V will be equal to, output voltage will be equal to VCE divided by 2. Sorry, VCE equal to VCC by 2, like that one. Similarly, if you are keeping V equal to 0, you will get some IC value, that is V by R. So you have to plot this one. Okay, you have to draw the connecting these two points in your output characteristic, and connecting these 2 points we are getting a load line. Okay, so to draw a load line we have to find saturation current and the cutoff voltage, as we have already discussed. Okay, so after finding this cutoff voltage and in the saturation region, we can draw the load line, and we have to find that one. The load line, the Q point should be fixed in the middle of the load line. Why the Q point has to be fixed in the middle of the load line? If you are choosing that one, if that case one, if you are choosing that DC Q point above the DC load line, means what happened? A part of the output characteristics will be cut off. See that one. See, this is your low Q point. If you are choosing the Q point above the middle of that above in the load line, what happens? See that one. Here the output, in the output the output will be clipped off. Okay, lower part of the output will be clipped off. So if you are choosing the load line, the Q point below the saturation region, in that saturation region, what happened means you will get that output is clipped off. So in order to get the output waveform as it is in the input, we have to keep the Q point in the middle of the load line. Okay, what is stability factor? We have already discussed that one. It's the degree of change in operating point due to the variation in temperature. If the temperature varies, we know that one ICO vary, and ICO as well as beta and VBE values will be vary. So we are having 3 stability factor. S equal to dou IC by dou ICO. That is variation of output current due to the changes in the ICO value, and variation of output current due to the change in the input voltage VBE, and variation of output current due to the changes in the gain beta. Okay, these 3 are the stability factor we have to discuss. So for example, here we have derived a stability factor. Commonly we have derived a stability factor by keeping that IC. We know that one IC will be equal to beta times IB plus IC 1 plus beta times ICBO. Since 1 plus beta is approximately equal to 1 less 1, we are keeping that one beta into IB plus ICBO. Okay, so when you are differentiating this equation with respect to ICO, you will get one equation that gives the stability factor S. So the stability factor S will be equal to dou IC by dou ICBO, that is equal to 1 plus beta divided by 1 minus beta into dou IB by dou IC. Okay, if you are having an equation in terms of IB and IC for your transistor configuration, either common emitter or common base or common collector, and you can find that dou IB by dou IC and substitute that dou IB by dou IC in this equation, you can find the stability factor S. Okay, this is a simple equation for finding the stability factor S. And then stability factor S dash and S double dash. You know that one S dash is dou IC by dou VBE. So if you are differentiating that IC equation with respect to VBE, you will get that stability factor S dash. Similarly, if you are differentiating that IC with respect to beta, you will get that S double dash. So S dash is given by dou IC by dou VBE, and that is given by 1 plus beta, and S double dash is given by IC by beta. Okay, so these are all the equation, general equation we are getting for fixed bias. Okay, next, what are all the biasing techniques? We know that we are having fixed biasing, collector to base bias or feedback biasing, voltage divider biasing. Fixed biasing means by fixing a resistor in the base, we are providing a stability to the Q point. Okay, the variation of the Q point can be stabilized, but it is having very poor stability. So we are going for collector to base biasing or feedback biasing. In this one, the changes in the IC is balanced by providing a feedback between the output to the input. Okay, negative feedback is given, so if there is any change in the IC value, it will reduce the gain value. Okay, next one is voltage divider bias or self bias. Additional resistor inserted in the feedback biasing automatically adjust the input voltage and provide a more stable circuit. Okay, these three are the biasing techniques we are going to discuss. Okay, what is the condition for biasing? To activate your transistor in the active region, we have to make that one base emitter junction should be forward bias and base collector junction should be reverse bias. Okay, to activate the transistor in the cutoff region, that is BJT in the cutoff region, both junctions should be reverse bias. To activate BJT in saturation region, both junctions should be in forward bias. To activate BJT in inverse transistor mode, your base emitter junction should be reverse biased and base collector junction should be forward biased. These are the bias condition, and you have to choose any one condition to activate your BJT for one particular application. Okay. Next, we are going to discuss about fixed bias. This is a basic biasing technique. Already we have started with the three biasing techniques. Now we are going to discuss the fixed bias. In this fixed bias, we are fixing the operating point by inserting a resistor in the base. Okay. So when you are inserting the resistor in the base, the circuit will be like this one, and when you are applying KVL to the circuit, you are getting that VCC equal to ICRC plus VCE. From that one, we can obtain VCE equal to VCC minus ICRC. Okay, this gives the basic equation. The advantage of this fixed bias is it is very simple circuit and it provide very required biasing and stability, but it is often used in circuits where transistor is used as a switch, not as an amplifier. However, one application of fixed bias is to achieve crude automatic gain control in the transistor by feeding the base resistor from a DC signal derived from the AC output later stage. Okay, the disadvantage of this fixed biasing is the common emitter current gain of the transistor beta is an important parameter in the circuit. But if IC equal to beta times IB, again if beta increases, the IC value will be changed. So this circuit has to give more stability. So we have to go for better design of this one. So with that we have completed the biasing techniques. What is operating point, what is load line, and why you have to choose the operating point in the middle of the line, what is stability factor, and what are all the three stability factors we have to derive. Now we have discussed about the basic biasing techniques also. We will discuss the next biasing techniques in the next class. Thank you.